welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time about me leaving a toxic relationship that I was in. I really want to start getting into more story time so you guys can get to know me on a more personal level. And I just want to share my story because I feel like there may be someone out there that can relate or maybe have went through the same situation that I did. And yeah, I feel like it's always good to just, tell a little bit about yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. So yeah, I just really want to share this with you all. So if you guys are interested in hearing about my story, then just please stay tuned. All right, guys, so I'm just going to hop right into it and yeah, just start from the beginning right away on my relationship with my ex. So I started a relationship back in my early 20s with a guy that was very older than me. There was a very decent age gap. Again, I was in my early 20s and he was in his 30s, I believe 30 or 31, one of the two. So yeah, I started a relationship with him, but I met him through a friend. So a friend of mine's at the time, she was having a housewarming party and her brother-in-law was best friends with my ex. So he brought him along to her housewarming party and that's how I met him there. So my friend and her sisters, they were trying to like put in a good word for him. I don't know if he might have said something about me and said that he liked me or wanted to talk to me or whatever. I don't know. But I just remember them telling me about him because I was single and they were just trying to play like the little matchmaker type of thing. I remember being unsure if I wanted to talk to him, and not just him, just talk to anyone in general. I was actually going through a lot in my life at the time. I was very depressed, heartbroken. I just wasn't in a good state to be getting in a relationship at that time. So I remember being back and forth if I wanted to talk to anyone in general, and him as well, because that was my very first relationship with someone, dating someone with that big of an age gap between. And yeah, so I was very in between for a while, but eventually me and him started talking. We exchanged phone numbers and everything, and yeah, we started the flirting, like the talking stage, flirting, getting to know each other, and things like that. And in the beginning it was okay, like it always is. We're getting to know each other and it's very flirtatious, and then it leads to the dating, going out on dates and things like that. If I am being honest with myself, there was a lot of red flags in the beginning that I completely ignored, or that I just brushed off and just took it as nothing and just left it be. He was very I could tell that he was very argumentative and just a very sarcastic type of person, but more on the argumentative side. There are those people that just have that type of humor where it's very sarcastic, but with him it was on another level of like sarcasm. It was just more of like trying to I felt like it was very argumentative, the way he would say things, and it kind of would lead to a little bit of bickering. And I remember thinking like, why are we bickering, or why are we going back and forth about this? Like, this is so like petty, this is so dumb. It would just be little bickering moments, but it wasn't full-blown arguments at that point because it was still early on. But yeah, just little red flags that I noticed about him. Later on down the line, as we continued to talk and get to know each other, he did come out and tell me that he had a son. I told him I appreciated him for letting me know and telling me. So that kind of added on to me being like, okay, not only is he older than me, but he has a child too, and I'm still early in my 20s. I was at that point. I remember being very firm and strict on myself. Like, I am not dating anyone that has a kid. That was just something that was just one thing that I was very firm about. But I did like him in the beginning, and as we were getting to know each other. So I was just like, you know what, like, let's just give it a shot. Let's see what happens. you never know, this could be the one. Yeah, I gave it a shot, and I decided to look past, you know, him having a son and things like that. He asked me to be his girlfriend, and I feel like as soon as I locked in being his girlfriend, and as the relationship went on, and you know, we started saying I love you and all these things like that, I feel that's when he started showing his true colors and showing who he truly was. I do want to mention right now, because this video is going to be very heavy and there's going to be a lot of emotions that I'm going to be dealing with. I haven't told this story or talked about in detail about this relationship in a very long time. I don't know if you guys are like me, but when I go through something that is hurtful or any type of betrayal or something that's traumatic in a way, I like to completely erase it from my mind. Like if it never happened, the person too, I like to just completely put it all behind me. So this kind of me just digging up a lot of events that happened to me with him and this entire relationship. So this is going to be a lot for me, so bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to get through it the best that I can, but I did have to write notes down. So if you see me looking down, this is just me looking down at my notes that I took. Again, this relationship was a really long time ago and I put it behind me, but I needed to write down notes for myself so I can recap on events that happen. And when I started writing things down, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this happened. So I just wanted to say that as well. If you see me looking down, that's why. But yeah, getting back into it. Yeah, like I said, I feel like as soon as I became his girlfriend, and is when I noticed that his true color started showing. There was a lot of arguing, which turned to verbal abuse, a lot of gaslighting, emotional abuse, and I feel like if I would have continued to stay in the relationship with him, there would have been physical abuse. And I'm going to get to that later on into the story, but that is just 100% how I felt from a lot of the things that he did and said to me, which made me feel like, yeah, he would have tried to physically harm me. So a lot of the arguments that we had that led to this verbal abuse and different things like that, the main topic of those arguments were always regarding jealousy, him feeling insecure, financial issues that he was dealing with at the time. And yeah, those would be like the main big things in the arguments and the issues that we were having. And very strongly, it was the jealousy. The jealousy and the insecurity. He expressed to me more than once that he was very insecure, and he didn't like when other men looked at me. He instantly, it was always a problem. It was always an argument. And it started to get really bad because he would always take it out on me. It would always be my fault if a guy approached me, if a guy looked at me. He would always cause the argument with me, especially out in public. There are instances where I remember one time we went out with a group of friends on Halloween night, and we went to this bar place, and I was with my girls, he's with his guys, but he's keeping an eye on me. A guy comes out of nowhere and he pulls my arm and whispers in my ear. I don't remember everything that the guy said. I just remember his hot breath and something about, I think he said something about wanting to get my phone number or that I look beautiful or whatever. And I remember my friend snatching my arm right away and pulling me away from the guy. So I didn't even get a chance to say anything to him or whatever, but she snatched me away from him. And then all of a sudden I get yanked again from my other arm, and it's my ex, and he's yelling at me like, what are you doing? Why would you let that guy come up to you or whatever? And I'm like, first of all, I am completely confused. I didn't even get a chance to say anything to the guy. I don't even fully know what was going on. I'm not gonna lie. I did already have drinks. Me and the group of girls that I was with, we were at the bar area all together, and the guys were doing their own thing. So yeah, I didn't even remember like what was going on, but all I know is I just didn't understand why he was screaming and shouting at me in the middle of this bar. And why didn't you go and say nothing to the guy? The guy came and pulled my arm and whispered something in my ear. So I just didn't understand. And it will always be instances like that. It will always be, oh, that guy is looking at you. Oh, why? Like, it was always stuff that was out of my control. Can't control if another man approaches me, or if somebody looks at me or finds me attractive. That is out of my control. And if you feel disrespected from someone else wanting to approach me or say something to me, then you as the man, you should go and say something. That was one of the things where I felt like I just didn't like, and it just gave me such a ick about him, because I felt like you'll get big and bad with me and be disrespectful with me, but you would never go and confront another man or someone you felt disrespected when it had nothing to do with me. It was always regarding someone else, and you felt disrespected. Why wouldn't you go and say anything? So I would just be like, are you scared? Like, you're not scared to disrespect me and call me all out of my name, but you won't go and confront another guy. Like, it was just so, it was crazy to me. And I'm not going to go into every detail of a lot of stories and events that played out, because some of them got really bad. I'm not gonna lie, like I said, just talking about all of it and recapping things, it is triggering, like in a way of like me just bringing up emotions of me being so mad, like mad at how I was treated, because there was nothing that I ever did to be treated that way. I was so good to him, so kind, so caring, so understanding, very accepting of his situation and accepting of his son. So I just didn't understand why I was treated that way, because I felt like I was a really great girlfriend and I went above and beyond to show him and to reassure him that I really cared about him, that I really cared about this relationship, that I was very invested. When I'm in a relationship, I pour my all into it. I put my whole heart and soul into it, and I'm very loyal. Yeah, and I just felt taken for granted. I didn't feel valued. It felt like nothing I did was ever good enough. I'll never forget another big argument that we had was at his mom's house, and his mom had to rush in the room and she defended me. She straight up just told him, like, you're not going to be disrespecting her like that. You're not going to be talking to her like that, especially not in my house. What is wrong with you? In the beginning, yeah, I wouldn't defend myself a lot, if I'm being honest, in the beginning, because I was more so shocked at what was happening, because I never experienced anything like that. Everything was completely new to me. Start having a relationship with an older guy, having a relationship with somebody that has a child, and then they're just disrespecting you, just so disrespectful, and just all of this arguing and toxicity. I was not used to it. So if I'm being honest, I would just get quiet. I would just be quiet, or just let him have his little temper tantrum moment, say whatever he said. And I only had one other serious relationship before him, and that was like my high school sweetheart relationship, where we dated for some years in high school and outside of high school, and we had our rough patches, and especially towards the ending of the relationship, but it was never on any type of level or any type of toxicity of what I went through with him. I appreciated when his mom stepped in to defend me and say something. And I just want to point out as well that he was also disrespectful to his mom. He had no respect for her whatsoever. Just like he didn't have respect for me. Because for one, for you to even feel that comfortable to just disrespect me in your mom's household and get that loud and shouting, raising your voice to the point where your mom has to come rushing in a room, you clearly have no respect for me whatsoever. And that just shows that you don't respect your mom, because you're doing it in her household. And yeah, but I got to see another side of him as well, of him disrespecting his mom. And that's another major red flag that I did not take into account, that I just swept to the under the rug. Anytime you're in a relationship with a man or a woman and they're being disrespectful to their parents, to any type of family members, but especially their parents, the people that are part of the reason why you were brought into this world, that is a major red flag. I had to return the favor to his mom and defend her. I was being so disrespectful to her one of the times, and I had to stand up for her, and I just told him, like, you're not going to be talking to your mom that way. Absolutely not in front of me, not at all. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you crazy? And I remember him getting so mad at me and telling me that I need to stay in my place, that this is none of my business, and this is my mom, like nobody's talking to you. And I just told him, I'm like, it is my business because you're doing it right in front of me. This is your mom. You're making me feel uncomfortable. Like, how can I not say something? Like, you're being disrespectful to your mother. And I just wanted to say, to give like a little background story about him, he was an only child. He never had a relationship with his dad. His dad was very in and out of his life. And his dad would come around and try to have a relationship with him. All to say, he was an only child. All he knows is his mom and his mom's side of the family. So crazy to me because I'm just like, this is all you have, like, you know, and this is your mother. There is no way I would be sitting here today if I ever talked to my mom the way he's talked to his mom. It was just completely out of pocket, very reckless, just on a different level. And what made it even more sad was that his mom was also going through underlying health conditions. She had like a full-on tube or like a bag in her stomach. And she had a very hard time walking, so she used like a cane, or yeah, I think it was a cane. I don't think it was like a walker or anything like that, but I think it was a cane. But yeah, she was going through a lot of underlying health conditions. So she had like a caretaker that would come over to her house to take care of her and things like that. So that was another reason why that was another thing that was crazy to me, because I'm just like, your mom is going through a lot. She's ill and you're still being disrespectful to her, and this is how you talk to your mom, this is how you treat her, this is how you treat me in front of your mom. You just completely have no respect at all. His mom asked him to go and pick up her medications from the store. He went to go pick up her medications, and I feel like she planned it out so she can have a sit down conversation with me. So she definitely did. And it was like, as soon as he left, she asked me to come sit at the kitchen table with her, and she just was, one thing I loved about his mom was that she was just very blunt. She was straight to the point. She was very kind, very loving, very sweet, but she was also just very blunt. So she just got straight to it, and she just told me, she's like, Naomi, you know, I really like you. You're a very sweet girl, but I just want you to know that you and my son are not going to last. And I remember just not saying anything and just letting her talk because I already knew. But I was just continue to hold out in that relationship for whatever reason, just being blinded and also trying to create a little fantasy world and trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, but whatever, that's a whole other story. I'll get to that. But she just straight up told me, she's like, I don't know where I went wrong with him as a mother. She's like, he needs serious help. Something is wrong with him. Like, he needs serious help. I remember her saying, you know, it's crazy because he's so disrespectful and he will do all these different things and say all these different things to you, and he'll never apologize. And I remember agreeing with her. I was like, you're right. He never apologized. She was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be so disrespectful, so mean, so rude, and he just wants to sweep it under the rug, but he'll get mad at you if you're still mad. And I experienced that. So it was like crazy that I'm talking to his mom about like stuff like this. I was like, yeah, he does that to me. Like, he will have an argument about something. He'll be so disrespectful, and I'm still upset about it. I'm still mad. I want to have a conversation. I need an apology from you. And I remember he would literally tell me, like, that's crazy. You're holding grudges. That happened yesterday. Like, you got to move on. Like, that's so childish of you. Like, that's literally what he would say to me, because when he wanted to be done with something, it needed to be done. It was always, why are you still talking about it? You're childish. You're holding grudges, but never apology. It was like he could never, he didn't do anything wrong in his eyes. And that's what was crazy. And it was also crazy that I'm sitting down having a conversation with his mom about this, and we're relating on the same type of level. I remember just feeling very low and just very sad. There was a lot of anger that I had built up inside me from being with him. I I just wasn't happy. I just really was not happy. And I remember trying to hold on any and every bit of happiness or laughter that we shared with each other. I tried to hold on to it so tight and create this little fantasy. It's so crazy. I can remember it like if it was yesterday, of being in my mind and thinking, this is just a rough patch we're going through. Like, later on down the line, things are going to get better. Like, you just have to be there for him. You just have to continue to just work on this, and things will get better. I remember telling myself this. Like, it was like I was separated from reality and living in a fantasy in my head. Genuine, 100%. I was not there. I was not in the reality of everything, all the toxicity of what was going on. I was strictly in my head when it came to him. Because looking back and reflecting on everything, I should have left that relationship as soon as the disrespect and everything started to happen in the beginning. If I didn't leave then, I definitely should have left when I had that conversation with his mom. But even after that conversation with his mom, I still stayed in the relationship. There was no reason for me to carry on that relationship with him. At that point, I was torturing myself. The good moments that we had in the relationship, they just completely got brushed to the side because the bad outweighed the good. There was just so much bad and so much toxicity where it was just like, I can't even think about, us talking about or laughing about anime and all these goofy different things or whatever. I can't even think about those moments, even though I tried my best to hold on to it, and that's what I was holding on to. But it was hard because there was so much bad. I was letting myself down because I was allowing him to treat me this way. A person is only going to treat you how you allow them to treat you. And I was allowing him to treat me this way. So I was failing myself because I was not seeing my self-worth, and I wasn't respecting myself by leaving this relationship and choosing me and choosing to walk away. That was something that I really struggled with when I started my healing process, my healing journey after I did walk away from that relationship. Even though I'm so proud of myself for being so young and for leaving, I'm very proud of myself. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it was easy during my healing journey after him. For one, he didn't make it easy. For two, just during the healing process, I was really hard on myself because I started reflecting on the fact that I really let myself down. I had a hard time forgiving myself. I turned on myself. I started calling myself stupid. Why would you stay with him? Why would you put up with that? Like, you're just so dumb. Like, what is wrong with you? Okay, sorry guys, I had to take a break. That really got to me for a second talking about that. I remember telling myself, Naomi, how could you let him disrespect you like this in public around people, causing scenes out in public? Because he would do that. He started taking it up a notch, and he would cause scenes out in public and be disrespectful. Restaurants, stores, wherever, he didn't care who was around. It was really hard to, when I was replaying everything that happened in that relationship and everything I went through, I also struggled with forgiving myself with the fact that I allowed him to turn me into this type of mean, ugly person too. Like I said in the beginning, I was not defending myself. So when I did start to defend myself, I would become disrespectful and say mean and hurtful things that he would say to me. Yeah, I struggled with that because I was just like, that's not you. You're not him. You would never speak to someone you love in this type of way. So yeah, I was very disappointed in myself because yeah, I allowed him to turn me into this type of person, and I really had to back off of myself and give myself grace because I was really being hard on myself, and I wanted to take accountability for where I went wrong in the relationship. But you know how they say you're your own worst critic. So, and I'm 100% like that. Like, I listen to criticism and I take critique very well from other people, but I am very, very hard on myself. So dealing with that and being young and everything that I went through, I was very hard on myself. I'm happy that I did take accountability for where I went wrong in the relationship, because I needed that. I needed that to be able to grow, and I needed that time to reflect. But I definitely should have gave myself grace, and I really had to take that time to work on forgiving myself because yeah, that was a lot. One of the times where we were getting an argument and we were getting out the car, we were going into Target, and he was doing his little scene moment. I remember a bird came out of nowhere and pooped on him. And I remember it pooped on his arm and it ran down to his hand. That's exactly what you get. Like, that's exactly what you get. It was almost like God's way of being like, you know what, you're not gonna be talking to her like this. You absolutely not. Take this. And he got pooped on. And that is so crazy to me because I feel like that's a very rare event with people getting pooped on with birds. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't hear about or see a lot of people getting pooped on by birds. That is crazy. I'm like, if that's not karma, I don't know. Me, I was smiling on the inside because I'm like, that's what you get. He goes into the Target bathroom and stuff, and he's washing off, and he's just like mad, cussing, angry, and whatever. I'm like, well, there's nothing you can do about it. The bird flew away now. So like, thank you to that bird for listening, hearing what I was going through, and that bird came out of nowhere and just pooped on him, gave him what he needed. Because yeah, I didn't get no poop on me. I was good. Not one bit of splatter, nothing on me. It was just like perfectly for him, and it was just wet and drippy and just ugh. Yeah, I think I also just want to talk about, because I said I was going to mention it, that why I felt the relationship would have definitely turned physical. I'm sure you guys get a sense of it from everything that I talked about so far. And I moved into my first place by myself, which I am so proud of myself about that I did that. I've always wanted to live on my own and be to myself. I function very well in solitude and just being on my own and being with my thoughts and meditating and just all that good stuff. I function very well on my own. So I've always wanted to live on my own and to get my first place. So yeah, I So I just want to give a little quick story on this. So my relationship that I was in high school, that was my first time of me trying to get my own place. And I was much younger at the time, because obviously high school and then coming out of high school, still very younger. But in that relationship with that ex, we were trying to get our first place together, but we kept getting denied due to us not having any rental history, any credit, anything established. We're babies. We weren't, they were looking at us like, no, like, I'm not gonna take you guys in. You guys are freaking kids. I mean, they could have gave us a shot, but whatever. I get it now. But yeah, we kept getting denied, and I took it really hard every time we were getting denied, because I really wanted this so bad. Like, my ex, he was just all for what I wanted. He was just cool. He didn't care either way. He just like, it's gonna happen, and in due time, like, we just have to wait, we have to work on things like that. But I wanted it so bad, so I would get so discouraged and so down, because we weren't getting any places. When that relationship ended, I remember telling myself, like, okay, Naomi, you have to go full on beast mode, and you're going to get your own place. You're going to stack up your money, you're going to get everything that you want, and you're just going to do this on your own. Your dream is going to become a reality. You want to live on your own, you're going to make it happen. Doesn't matter who else comes into the picture. If I get in another relationship, I stuck by that. So that's what I did. Got my first place while I was in a relationship with my toxic ex, and he was very upset about that. And I remember when I got the keys to my place, had a full-on argument for the very first time in my empty house. And he just was basically telling me, like, how does that look? We've been together for how long, and you don't want to get a place with me? First of all, sir, you're not doing anything or showing me any type of way of why I would want to live with you to begin with. So absolutely not. Second, and most importantly of all, I wanted to live on my own forever. I set my mind to it. I told myself it does not matter who comes into the picture, whatever, I'm going to be living on my own. So I'm sorry you feel some type of way, but I do not care, because this is something that I wanted for myself, and you're not going to ruin that for me. You either be supportive or you can go, because at this point, like, no, you're not gonna just ruin the energy in here. And that's strictly just how I told him too. I was just like, you're not gonna ruin the energy and the feeling that I have right now. I am very proud of myself. I'm in my early 20s. I'm very proud of myself that I got my first house by myself, and you're not gonna kill this moment for me. I don't want a roommate. I want to take care of my bills, my responsibilities on my own, and I want to do it by myself. So don't try to just kill this moment for me. And he got really mad, stormed out, whatever, typical temper tantrums that he had. I did not care, because I was in my empty house and I did it by myself, and I just was like, I'm doing this. I don't care. I loved, if like, at the point of when I got my house, when I secured that was when I started noticing, like, okay, I'm just getting really into this energy of, like, I don't care what you do at this point, like, leave, go, bye, never come back. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm heading on a different path, and God has just blessed me with being able to live on my own, my first place. I was still with him for a little bit of time throughout me living at my first place by myself. He would come over and things like that, and the arguments still would happen. I feel like there was some jealousy there from me getting my first place, and him feeling some type of way about that. It was so weird, because I remember thinking about this, but he used to purposely try to antagonize me. It's like he wanted to see me get mad and get out of character. It was so weird. I remember thinking, like, you like this? Like, what is wrong with you? What did it for me was when he started breaking things. I remember he picked up my full-length body mirror that I had don't have it anymore. He picked up my full-length body mirror, and he threw it across the wall, and glass shattered everywhere, all over the carpets, all over the floors, just completely shattered. And he started snatching things out of my hand, smacking things out of my hands. I was to the point where I just was like, I need the spare key to my house, and like just give it to me. You need to go. Everything's been out of hand, but like this is just like on another level. Like you snatching things from me, smacking things out of my hand, throwing my keys across the room, calling me all out my name. I'm not gonna say things that he said for YouTube purposes, but yeah, he was calling me all different stuff out of my name and things like that. And yeah, I just remember feeling like, this, Naomi, this is it. Like, no more. You're done. He just got me so mad and so heated. And again, if I'm being honest and taking accountability, I allowed him to do these things because I could have been got him out the picture. I could have been done with the relationship. There was already so much. I already had conversations with his mom behind his back, that to this day he doesn't know about. Probably if he watches this video, maybe he will know that I'm talking about him, but I'm not saying any names. So, but he'll know from everything that he did to me. But yeah, I could have been left that relationship. So if I'm taking accountability for, again, where I went wrong, he treated me this way because I stayed. He was comfortable with doing it. He was comfortable with disrespecting me and doing these things to me. So yeah, I can't, it's like at that point, I couldn't even be mad or anything or be surprised for how he was acting. I definitely didn't deserve it, but I should have left. Again, I gave myself grace. I forgave myself. Was young. I'm learning. I'm a different woman now. I'm a different person. I had my breaking point. I left the relationship and I said, enough is enough. I'm done with you. Completely blocked him, erased, deleted all different type of numbers, accounts that he tried to reach out on. He even tried to reach out to me on his son's social media, Snapchats and stuff that his son had. It was just very weird. And yeah, he didn't make it easy on me because I really wanted to be left alone. I had to get my family involved because he would show up at my work. He would leave notes and cards all on my windows. Coworkers would tell me coming back from lunch, hey, Naomi, I seen someone put something in your car, on your windshield wiper, things like that. He would text me from unknown numbers. I'm guessing he would download an app or something, but he would text me from out-of-state numbers, apologizing, begging me for me to take him back, saying that he was sorry, crying, and all this extra stuff. He would call me from his coworkers' phones. Oh my gosh, I remember that. Yeah, like it was just every way possible. He was trying to reach out to me, and he pulled up on me one of the times, blocked my car in, and was not letting me get past. Y'all, I was really going through it. To just get away from him and just stop talking to him. And yeah, it wasn't until I got my family involved where he got the memo. He left me alone. Never heard from him since, never dealt with him. Actually, no, that is untrue. Throughout the years, randomly, it would be like a year that has gone by. I would randomly get a text from him from a random phone number telling me, trying to get sympathy before a family member of his that he had that passed away. And I never responded. But the one time that I did respond was when he told me that his mom had passed away. That was the only time and the last time he ever got a response from me. Every other time when he tried to reel me back in for sympathy, I never responded. But that time about his mom, I really did feel bad for him. And so I sent a simple text to him. And I just told him, I'm sorry for your loss and that I'm thinking of you and your family and your son at this time. I wasn't even thinking about everything that he had did to me, said to me, because I just was completely over it at that point. It's been years in, but I felt bad about his mom, and I felt bad for him because again, he was the only child. That was all he had, and I just didn't have it in my heart to be disrespectful or say anything to him. I just left it as it is, and I blocked that number afterwards. I don't wish anything bad on him. I wish him the best. If I can say one good thing about him, he was a really great dad. He made sure that his son was very well taken care of and provided for his son in every way possible. So I will say that for him. But yeah, after that, I just let things be. Again, I don't wish anything bad on him. I wish him the best. I hope that he was able to have a conversation and heal the relationship and make peace with his mom before her passing. I hope that he had that moment with her. And yeah, I don't want to have anything negative or any type of hatred or ill will or anything in my heart. I just honestly wanted to just move on from this situation, and hopefully he is a better person and that he's changed, and that maybe that situation, even though it's sad and it's unfortunate, the loss of your mom or any loved one, but hopefully that was a wake-up call moment for him and he was able to take a look at himself in the mirror. Whew. But yeah, that was a lot, you guys. I am proud of myself for making it through. I haven't talked about this in a really long time, the details of everything, rehashing everything, and just the feelings, the emotions, just I haven't went through that in a while. So that was a lot, and the fact that I just did all of that on camera is crazy. But if you watch this all the way to the end, thank you so much for listening to everything. I want to end things off on a little piece of advice that I just want to share with anyone that may be going through a really rough time, and whether it's a romantic relationship, with a family member, friend, whatever it is, or if you're going through a similar situation as mine and you're healing or trying to get out of it, whatever it may be. I just want to say that I feel for you. And I know exactly what you're going through. It's definitely hard. It's very hard when you're dealing with situations like that, trying to move on and trying to heal and trying to forgive yourself, just trying to leave those situations. Just know that you can. You definitely can. It's literally just about you tapping into that strength and that power that God has instilled in all of us. Never tell yourself that, oh, I don't know what my life will be like without him. I don't know if I can leave him. You definitely can. And the first start is recognizing the strength and the power that you have, and recognizing the fact that you are worthy and deserving of love. And you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be with somebody that's going to love and cherish you and care for you. And that's what I had to tell myself. I had to literally ask myself, Naomi, what do you deserve? How do you define love? Is this love? I had to ask myself those questions and really reflect on things. Also, taking accountability. It's very important during the healing journey and process to take accountability for mistakes that you made, for not trusting your gut, your intuition, for if you felt like me, if you felt like you failed yourself, just taking accountability for that, and learning to forgive yourself, and love yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to make mistakes. You're continuing to learn. And even though it sucks to attract people like that into your lives, everything happens for a reason. And I do not regret that relationship at all. As crazy as it may be to say that. At first I used to say, oh my gosh, I just regret meeting him. I regret dealing with him. No, completely opposite now. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for that relationship as a whole, because it made me see things and recognize a lot of things about myself, and it just made me become a different woman. It made me become stronger. It made me be able to share my experience with friends and help them through situations that they're going through. And yeah, I just became a completely different woman because of that situation. So I'm grateful. And where I'm at now in my life, I know that I was never alone. I was never alone. God was always with me. Just knowing that is very comforting, knowing that I was never alone and that Jesus was with me each and every step of the way, even throughout everything. I just want you to know that you're not wrong. You're not wrong for having a kind, compassionate, loving heart. That's something that I had to tell myself. I'm not wrong. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb for wanting to love someone and wanting to see the best in them and wanting to, yeah, just wanting to be there for someone. You're not wrong. So if you're telling yourself that, if you're telling yourself, I'm stupid, I'm this, that, no, you're not. You're not wrong for having a good heart and for loving on someone. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's only the fact of when you become blinded and you try to, in a way, gaslight yourself and live in this fantasy world, and you don't live in the reality and see your situation for what's truly going on. That's when it becomes the problem, when you're not seeing your own self-worth, when you're not putting yourself first, when you're not choosing you. Your heart, the love that you have, there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with wanting to love another person and wanting them to reciprocate the love that you're putting onto them.
Hey guys, I just wanted to hop on here really quickly because I forgot to mention something that I told myself during the time of healing that I took after the relationship. And I don't know, it could be helpful to someone out there that's watching or listening right now. So I just wanted to hop on here really quick. But one thing, or another thing that I should say that I told myself during that time was, do not close your heart off to love. Sometimes when we go through heartbreak or betrayal or hurt or whatever it is, we instantly want to close our hearts off. And that was something that I told myself that I'm not going to do, just because of the fact that I was really taking that time to reflect on the relationship, and I wanted to hold myself accountable for where I went wrong, for signs that were there that I ignored, not trusting my intuition, him showing me his true colors, and I still stayed in the relationship. At the end of the day, I allowed him to treat me that way. I allowed him to make me say things that I would never say, act in ways that are 100% not me. So I have to take accountability in that. I can't point the finger at him for that. That was on me on that part. I'm not saying that I deserve to be treated that way in a relationship, because I definitely don't. No one deserves to be disrespected and do in all different types of stuff that people go through in relationships. But to a certain extent, I did want to hold myself accountable because I allowed it to happen by staying. So because of that, when I was healing and taking that time to reflect in everything that I was going through, I just did not, I refused to have him be the reason that I closed my heart off, or allow him to close my heart off to love. You guys get what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I refused for me to close my heart off. And the way I looked at it was, I can't let one bad apple ruin it for the rest of the bunch. We hear that saying a lot, and it's true. Not everyone is like him. There are a lot of amazing people out there, and I haven't met everyone. And I do believe in love, and I do believe in meeting your person and meeting and falling in love and true love and things like that. And I believe that that's in the cards for me, and that God will bring that person into my life when it's time and when I'm ready for that. So I just didn't want to risk being in that type of energy of being closed off, and me missing my blessing from God, my gift, because I chose to close my heart off. So that was something that I just was not going to do, because that was just a risk that I did not want to take. And it's not fair to someone else out there that, is going to come in my life and wants to love me the right way, and that I can trust and, be with or fall in love with. So yeah, not everyone is like my ex. So I have to give everyone a fair shot. And what I told myself was that I just need to take this time to heal and work on myself, and so I can be in the right type of energy to receive love and to continue to give love. And yeah, and just be able to pay attention to the signs going forward, to really trust my intuition, trust my gut, and have good discernment. So yeah, it was just more so of just bettering myself and just knowing the things that I have to do going forward when it comes to being in a relationship and meeting the right person. I just really had to pay attention. And the only way that was going to happen is for me to work on myself and change the patterns that I was repeating, the patterns that I was in. So basically the way I was looking at it was, I may have not been the problem, but that doesn't mean I didn't have problems, that I didn't have issues that I needed to work on. So I don't know. I just feel like I needed to hop on here and say that. But yeah, we're going to get back into the video.
That's just my advice for those of you that may be going through something similar or went through something similar. So hopefully that was helpful. I think I'm just going to end this off here. I've already said a lot and touched on everything. Yeah, if you guys watch this all the way through, thank you so much. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below on, you know, if you want to share your experiences, if you have anything that you want to say to me, any advice. I would love to hear from you guys. So feel free to comment in the comment section down below and just let me know what your thoughts, how you're feeling. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.